Removing red eye is one of the easiest things you can do in Photoshop. Pretty much Photoshop does all the work for you. So let's have a look here. Okay, we have one of those typical photos shot at night with the flash, probably with one of those disposable cameras without the red eye function. So you get red eye. So what do? First of all, just zoom in here, select the right tool, which is the red eye tool, underneath the Sport Healing Brush tool, there we go. And just single click on the red portion of the pupil. That's all you need. One single click. 2 clicks per set of eyes. And there you go. Red eye removed. If we can just compare here. Before and after. Red eye? No red eye. That's all there is to it. Okay, we're going to be learning how to remove spots and blemishes from photos. The amount of work you're going to be doing in this one really depends on, how bad are the spots, how many blemishes are there. If there's not so much, there's not a lot of work. If there's a lot of them, there's quite a bit of work. It really just depends on the photo. Let's have a look at here what we have to work with. This photo isn't that bad. I mean, it's got, she obviously has a bit of spots around here, and we can take away this mark here and so forth. But it shouldn't take us too long. My preferred tool, now you can use Spot Healing Brush, which is alright until you get, you get close to edges, and then it starts messing things up. So I like controlling things a bit more. So if we go to the Healing Brush tool, then we are afforded, if we we can alt click on an area that has a similar tone to the affected area, and then we can just brush away. Now the first thing I like to do is, if we bring up the layers palette here, is just to create a new layer. And then we already have our tool selected, and then the sample layer, we want to make sure that it's selected to all layers. What this does is, I'll be making the modifications to this layer here, which we'll call it no spots. And if we make any mistakes, we can just go back, delete some parts of it. We can turn it on and off and compare how our progress is doing. So it's a really good way of working. So that's the way I like to work. That's the way we're going to be showing this to you here. So like I said, we're going to be alt-clicking on an area that has a similar tone, and then just clicking away. Let me zoom in here a bit more. Okay. And it's just a matter of I like always resampling before making any modifications. Just making sure I'm sampling a similar area, but not the exact same thing. And we can get a bit lazy and just do a bit of it from the same area. Sometimes you start running into problems. That's why I like resampling from similar areas all the time. Now, as you start getting closer to edges, that's when you really need to start paying attention, or maybe make your brush a little bit smaller, and maybe even zoom in a bit more. Got a bit of a red. And I always like just clicking. If you just drag things, then you start making mistakes. So just one click. That's all it takes. Just one click. Let's even remove this highlight here. There we go. Little spot hidden there. Alright, she's looking fantastic here. What do we got? Oh, the forehead. Okay. You always want to make sure that your brush is a bit bigger than the spot itself. So just adjust as spot sizes require. Because you really want to be doing as little effort as possible. You don't want to be clicking 2-3 times on something, Okay, let's see how that looks. That looks pretty good. A good way to compare whether or not you're done or not is really just turning off the spots layer, yeah? And just compare what you have, what's still there. And I think I can see something in her nose, at the tip of her nose. It's a bit red here, so we're just going to try to make that go away. Sampling a little bit, and let's have a look here. That looks pretty good to me. Now if you make a mistake, here's a quick way to fix this is, let's say you've obviously you can undo if you do something like that, but let's say you didn't even notice and you did a couple of silly things, and then you turn it on and off, and you go, oh shoot, I messed up her lip there. What you can do, because you're in a separate layer, is just go back in there, delete it. No problems. Yep. Let's just noticed a bit of spots here and here. There we go. So you can play around as much as you like. Try not to spend too much time removing spots, but there you go, blemishes and spots, not a problem with Photoshop. Okay, now removing unwanted objects or people is pretty straightforward. It's just the amount of time you're going to be doing this really depends on the complexity of the photo, but the one tool you're going to be using the whole time is a stone stamp tool. So that's the one we're going to be viewing right now. If we go to this photo here, this isn't a terribly complex photo, but if we wanted to remove her and this guy from the photo here in the background, it shows you the principle of what it is we need to do. Obviously, the only things to watch out for in this case is that obviously the C is pretty easy because of the uniformity of the randomness of the waves and so forth. But still, there's a distinct difference between what's happening here to what's happening here to the splashes here. So it's not like you can just clone from anywhere. You just gotta pay attention a little bit. And obviously, I'm going to show you how to properly clone him out and separate the hair here. So first thing we need to do, create a new layer, and with the stamp tool here selected, make sure that you're sampling all layers. I like doing this because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be cloning bits here and adding them here, but where we're adding it to is not adding it to the photo itself, but we're adding it to this layer here. If we make any mistakes, it's just a matter of just deleting this layer or parts of the layer, and our original photo stays intact. So that's the way I like to work. And the first thing we need to do is just clone him out. The easiest bits first, usually. And all you need to do to make it seem realistic is just to do multiple sample places. Don't just sample from one area and stick to it. Just do it from one and then do it from another. And make sure that you're sort of, in this area, you're sort of just staying horizontal to him so that you're getting the same sort of patterns that are happening here and here to this girl over here. So we're staying roughly to how the sea is behaving at the different depths. And the trick is really just always constantly resampling. That's all that is. The best outlook, the best results are going to be from resampling constantly. Make sure to get all your edges. Remove all that reflection there. Okay, that's pretty good. The hardest part here, really, of all of this is just separating the hair. And this is how we're going to do it. First of all, we need to select her hair. I like using the quick selection tool here. It doesn't have to be terribly precise at the moment, so we just want a general thing. And I think we're getting a bit too general here, actually. But in any case, we just want to make sure that we just want to block out her and leave out essentially just him here. So we just need to zoom in a little bit. We want to go to quick mask tool, double click here, make sure you're on selected areas, and so making sure that we're just blocking out just her hair and a bit of her arm here. So with the white selected, make sure you've got 100% opacity. Just make sure you're just masking her hair and so forth. If there are any strands and so forth, then just it's better to just take them out, actually. There we are. Sometimes it's easier to see by just unblocking the area and then just going back in here and blocking it yourself again, so you can see exactly where the hair ends. Okay, that looks pretty good. And now what we need to do is just to block him out. So let's exit the quick mask. Now we've selected the hair and we want to paint outside of here, so what we need to do is just inverse the selection first. So inverse. Now we're painting everything but here, right? So if you're not understanding, you'll understand right now, because what we're doing is just cloning. And see how that works? We're just cloning inside of here and not inside of her hair. So again, just constantly resampling we deselect, and I think the only little mistake I've got here is just the central bit here, which we can do with a very small clone tool, and just carefully clone out these little details. And then if you don't want the hair to have such a harsh edge as it has here, as opposed to here, just use an opacity of 30%, for example, and then just go over the edges just a bit, clicking and clicking, and you'll start seeing that it starts fading away a little bit, and you don't get the harsh edges. So that's for optimum quality. That's my tip for you right there. Okay. Seems like we've successfully removed everyone else from the photo. Let's have a look. Alright, we only have one problem. Actually, right here, I just noticed. Look at that. And this is the advantage of using this layers, a separate layers, that we can zoom into the problem area here. And chances are that's all the problem right there. And just delete it. Compare. There we have it. Person removed.